Hello everyone, welcome back to my backyard street lighting display. Today we have a 1995 Cooper OVM street light. This was the last year these were ever made. And for some insane reason, a collector paid $600 for one of these things a while back. Like a year or two ago now, I guess. Lucky for me, I did not pay anywhere close to that. Take away the 6 and take away one of the zeros, and that's what I paid. I paid nothing. But anyways, these were made from 1986 to 1995. So almost 10 years of production. And these are a really common street light to still find around, I would say anyway. I mean, I guess with all the LEDs, maybe not, but around me, these things are still everywhere. So this specific one is a one-off year with a tag, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, it's still not worth $600. Show you what I mean. So Cooper started using this Electromark branded tag, which you can still buy from them today and put them on other fixtures. They still produce stuff. They still make the tags for Cooper, and they also still will make them for anybody else. But I think only Cooper used these. It's where that actually tells you the lighting type, as well as, you know, the wattage, which is something that only Cooper really did. And so yeah, this was the last year of the OVM, and as you can see, it's kind of bloated and has some OV25 remnants of design on it. It still uses the glassware from an OV25. You can kind of tell there's that OVM, and then there's an OV25. So it's got some of the design elements, like they kept the latch style, and they also kind of kept the whole front of the fourth generation OV25. They just completed the fixture by giving it a slip fitter that's inside of the fixture and so forth. So it's kind of bloated. This is 36 inches long, so it's 3 inches shorter than a regular OV25. But yeah, one of the cool things about it and other Cooper fixtures is that all of these were textured powder coated, which is cool. I normally don't see paint issues with these for that reason. They did make them in silver at one point too in the early production run in like the mid-80s, 86, 87, whatever. But yeah. So I'm going to have to open the door with two hands because unfortunately, despite being fairly well made overall, this piece broke. And sorry about the lack of focus. I think it just went right into the sun right there. Okay, there we go. It's a particularly hard time to film. It's noon. So yeah, that broke, and it does hold, but if I open the door with one hand, the thing's gonna fall on the ground, and so I'm going to have to do it too. I'm gonna have to fix that. I have the piece that broke off. But for now, it is what it is. So, one moment. Okay. Now we're off. And here it is. So, this is running another 80s Sylvania clear mercury lamp. And a lot of the tags and stuff have all gone away. And for some reason, they put the socket position really far forward. As most of the ones I've seen are a little bit further back. And this is how you adjust it right there. It's pretty nice. It's similar to Westinghouse's design a little bit. I don't know if this is the factory ballast or not. I don't think so, judging by all of this. Which, this kind of baffles me because I thought that they didn't replace ballast back in the day in these fixtures, but I actually have seen a couple that did get a replacement ballast. So I guess they did at one point sometimes do that. And for now, because this wire popped off, I just have the photocell socket disabled, but so it doesn't get water in it, I put a photocell on it. Actually, I think it's just the one it came with. But here's the terminal block right there. The earlier OVMs had a ceramic one, but since this is from '95, last year, this is when they started using the Bakelite / plastic ones. So, unfortunate there. But yeah, this ballast is very interesting. I don't think it's factory based on all the other wiring, unless they just replaced the capacitor only. But I mean, that kind of tells me that it's probably... Well, wait, no, duh. We did that. Never mind. That I did to disable this. So maybe... But this part is what weirds me out here. Going to the lamp. That I did not do. I didn't do this. And if you can see, there's feathers, because this whole fixture was a literal bird's nest. So like the entire thing when I opened the door was just bird nest. Above the reflector, everything. So I had to take it apart and get all that out. But yeah, so sorry for the longer overview of this fixture. Still uses the same OV25 reflector and the same mounting position, actually, or mounting method, I mean, too. So pretty much everything is very Westinghouse-like. I didn't seem to change a lot about it. And the tag is gone due to the bird's nest, so I apologize, but the tag, or the NEMA tag, is how I know it's from '95. Unless, also the terminal block being different is another way to tell. So, alrighty. Back together again. Okay. So I'll go ahead and fire it up. It's also pretty loud. But we started using these primarily in mercury vapor in most areas as early as '86, '87. For whatever reason, my utility just decided to use a bunch of fixtures, so they weren't really partial very much to one brand. Now they seem to favor Westinghouse over everything else for the most part, but they would still install new installations full of GE stuff or replacement installations of GE stuff. They would use ITT a little bit here and there, American Electric before they went to ITT, and later Kraus-Heinz stuff, which again was a continuation of the Westinghouse stuff. So they'd use pretty much everything. They used Lime Material and McGraw-Edison in large numbers too. And when the 125 came out in '87, they were using that, this, and the M400 R2 as replacement fixtures for mercury vapor, and new installations for HPS around that time were mostly the M400A2, which at the time HPS was just being used here. Sorry about all that background noise, I can't help that, unfortunately. But it's a nice day, a really nice day, so sadly for me, so anyways, what I was saying is, yeah, they used these in mercury first, and then in the 90s, like 1991, 92, they started using them in HPS. First they started out with 25s in 87, 88, and then also 125s in HPS, but they seem to prefer to use the 25s more first as HPS fixtures, and then A2s and R2s were only mercury vapor until the 90s, actually. They didn't even bother using them in HPS until that point. I don't know why, but yeah, so we have a lot of these still left in mercury vapor around me. We even have a couple of them running on remote ballasts. I have one of them, actually. It's pretty cool. they would just use any empty shell Cobra head they could get their hands on if a fixture got damaged. And in this case, they were replacements of Form 109s, which probably all got damaged in some storm, and since the glass is not replaceable, they just went ahead and changed them out to something else, but kept the ballast, because why replace something that's working? I guarantee you that's what happened. That, or the linemen damaged each one while relamping them, because you can destroy the socket wires when you're relamping those, and that could have been why. But anyways, yeah, so they used them in remote ballast, they used them in HPS as well. I don't think I've ever seen these in metal halide personally. I know they made them in metal halide, but I don't think we ever used them. If we did, it was so short-lived I never got to see it. So I've never seen them in a parking lot either that are metal halide. They've always been mercury vapor. Now I've seen them reballasted to metal halide later on, but the tag was still blue. So, but I've never seen one with the red tag. But yeah, these things are actually overall pretty well made. A lot of people don't like Cooper stuff because they have the association that they're not well made, but really their castings are pretty thick. I don't know why this one got broken, honestly, because like I said, the casting's pretty thick. So that was kind of odd to me, but you know, stuff happens. It could have been weakened by lots of vibration over the years, or it could have just been a weak casting piece, like the mold didn't set properly for that area. I don't know. I don't see a lot of these broken with bad doors or anything like that, so that was kind of strange to me. But yeah, these are about as thick overall as an OV25 is. They really did beef these up a lot more than other modern fixtures. I'd say it's just a little thinner, but not by too much. Yeah, I mean, you can see how thick that is. It's not thin by any standard. This 125 is a lot worse built. It's a lot thinner casting, and the paint is worse too. So, and what's crazy is this is 30 years old and this is 20 years old. Still can't get over that. So, yeah. But overall, this thing is pretty well made. It's very heavy too, which is nice. So I don't have any complaints about these, and their ballasts seem to be pretty good because, like I said, there's a lot of these still running in both HPS and mercury vapor. So, yeah, I don't really think these are bad in construction. I just got unlucky. I have two other OVMs, and they're doing fine, so yeah, if I wanted to, I guess I could part out the one that used to be HPS, but the ballast was bad, and then I could just use the door for this and swap the tag. I might do that, but I also kind of want to make that HPS one HPS again. I put a 250 watt metal halide ballast in it, which I made a video of that actually. I put that in and I ran it with mercury vapor. I want to make it 400 watt sodium again, but I might in the meantime just steal the door off of it for this. So yeah, I'm thinking it's pretty much at full brightness. Normally I would open the door again and show it while it's on, but I don't want to because this thing, you know, doesn't swing open like it's supposed to right now, so I'll just leave it alone. But yeah, I'm really happy to have a couple different variations of these. I've got one with the integral ballast mercury vapor, which is this one. I've got one that's remote ballasted. It's supposed to be mercury vapor, of course, as well, and that has a blue tag on it. And then I have the one that was HPS, but now is 250 watt mercury / metal halide. So, yeah, I really like these. I hope to get more of them because they're one of my top childhood street lights. I've always liked them. My old neighborhood, one of the major roads next to it, is still to this day loaded with a ton of these and 200 watt HPS, which we have a lot of 200 watt here. Not so much other places, but this area does, so it's kind of cool. And yeah, so I've always liked these. I saw them a lot growing up in mercury and HPS. I the highway department used these, so in both mercury and sodium. So I saw them on freeways. So they're a big childhood fixture for me. So I'm glad to have a couple of them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll go ahead and turn it off here. And thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.